Now, believe it or not, I believe that a movie that makes you angry might tell you a little bit more about your story than even a movie that makes you cry. Ooh. So, let me explain. Let's get into it. Here we go. As basically, I'm just saying whatever comes to my brain. Not going to be edited very well. No, I'm not talking out my butt. Hi, my name is Bryan Coley. I am the Chief Creative Officer. All right, movies that make you angry. All right, first of all, let me just tell you that the premise that we have here at Reel is that when something moves you, either to laughter, to tears, to anger, to just be inspired, to change your life, anything like that, like those movies are ultimately telling you your story. And what we've seen over the last 10 years is a person's top 10 movies is like a palette that's just theirs. We've never seen a top 10 movie list be the same. And because of that, we see that, that palette actually says something there. It has their thumbprint on it, and that ultimately you can find that treasure, which is in your top 10 movies of your story. So let me explain this idea of move to anger. All right. Now I've got two examples. One is when I was first exploring this and really coming up with this concept. It's a movie called God's Not Dead. So that's my first example. And then a more current example, which is probably going to make you angry at me, is that I want to use the movie Barbie as a movie that made me angry also. And probably not for the reasons that you think. But let's start with the first aspect of when a movie makes you angry, the first thing that is probably telling you. Now, when I saw God's Not Dead, it really I remember being in the theater. It's like a visceral experience right now. I can just picture myself in there, just getting angrier and angrier. And the reason I got angry was because I felt like this movie was just an us and them kind of red meat for Christians who were like, yeah, the culture is coming against us and all these atheists are trying to take our rights away. And we're it was just like the straw man of an atheist professor who was persecuting this Christian young student and telling him that he had to prove that God's not dead, and all this kind of stuff. And it was just one of those kind of triumph over the enemy of the culture, that kind of thing. And that's just not me. And so therefore, immediately you see that a movie that makes you angry usually tells you a theme in your life, okay? So that's the first thing. Very much on the external side of it. So this is the first aspect I want to talk about is just sort of the external, like when you got angry externally, like the movie made you angry because of this. We're going to explore also the idea of more of the internal approach to looking inside of the movie and finding what makes you angry and what that tells you about. But that'll be for the next episode. This one I just want to talk about. A movie that makes you angry usually tells you a value or a theme in your life. So God's Not Dead. Obviously, because of my reaction to this movie, I really value, and what it showed to me is that I value this concept of what I call we. The idea of how do we come together and be a we. Like the last years have just been excruciating for me, seeing the polarization in America and things like that. So that idea of a we is of value to me. And ironically enough, when I look at the most recent example of why I got angry, which is Barbie, it isn't because of like patriarchy and like feminism and all the politics of all that kind of junk. It was because when I looked at the movie, I was like, I felt like the director missed an opportunity at the end. Like I felt like there was an opportunity for Ken and Barbie to become a we, and for men and women to become a we. And if we're going to paint a picturesque, perfect world that is this Barbie world, why can't we create a world that is Barbie and Ken? Why does it have to go back to women are back in charge and men are not? And, and so for me, that's what made me angry. And believe it or not, it was the same thing as God is Not Dead. So it was exactly the same theme or value. And for me is that I wanted to see a we at the end of the movie. And it just showed me again my story through that. Now, the second part of this video, which will come next, is I want to show you how movies make you angry actually show you things even deeper. So in the next episode, I want to show you how you can find your core desire in a movie that makes you angry. So that's the next episode. And thanks for watching this one, my rambling. and we'll see you next time.